Good afternoon, Peter and Heike. It's such an honor to be in conversation with both of you. Thank you so much for being available for this occasion, for this interview. First of all, I want to introduce you to tell the people a little about what you have been doing. And Peter, a specialist in neurology, psychiatry, and music therapist. You have founded Sound Trance Institute, developed this special archaic instrument training, gong therapy, and been working in these fields for so many years, apart from being a supervisor, a consultant, and a lot of experience in this field. So thank you so much. And working with Heike Hess, Peter Hess and Heike Hess, that has been training as a psychotherapist. You have been doing working shamanism, naturopathy, and also working with Peter in archaic instruments and gong therapy for so many years. So super and welcome. I'm happy to have you both here. The idea is just to have a little conversation to explain what are you doing today, and how. First, I would really like to know, to hear. I'm curious about this link between the music therapy, and psychedelics. Both of you are coming from different fields. You, Peter, from being a psychiatrist, a neurologist, and you, Heike, from psychotherapy too, but from naturopath therapy. So how does it comes together? Yeah, what's the background you have been working, and what do you think about this combination?
Yeah, maybe it's important also to mention that actually I started with medicine and general medicine, and then later I specialized for neurology and psychiatry. And I realized that, and I was also a musician at that time. I learned music in India, tabla. And so my dream was always to combine this somehow, these two things, because I realized in the clinic only to talk with people, you know, as psychiatrist or prescribing medicine is really not the thing I really wanted to do, because I realized the limitations, you know, and being only somebody who is prescribing the next medicine if something is not working. So I tried to combine this, you know, and also to combine the thing that I realized for the altered state of consciousness. Of course, as a psychiatrist, I was interested, what is going on there, what's happening under the influence of these substances. And so I started to make a scientific work about cannabis, and cannabis and EEG, so looking in the brain, what's happening under the influence of cannabis. And this was really, and cannabis, not only cannabis alone, but also with the music together. And I was astonished how the music and cannabis together changed much more in the brain activity for kind of a meditative state. So this was actually the beginning in the 70s, actually.
Wow,
so
long ago.
50
You're a
years
pioneer.
ago,
Pioneer in all
was
this.
my dissertation. And then later I realized I was reading the books of Stanislav Grof when he prescribed of the LSD psychotherapy, and I was really interested. I thought, oh well, LSD is even more giving more deep experiences. So I thought, wow, this should be even better to see what's going on. And I started a scientific work about LSD, but Yeah, and I got the permission also to do it, and I got the last ampoules, the original ampoules from Sandoz, you know, the last ones, what they had from Switzerland. And I made some experiences already with patients, but it was not so easy to really find the deep, to see what's going on, because the influence of being in a hospital and of the setting was so much that I thought, oh well, this is not the right thing to do. So yeah, and then so later I started to yeah, it was in the 80s. I met Stanislav Grof. He came and visited me because of this LSD project, and we were talking about the possibilities. How could we do something? Because of course at that time it was completely illegal to do anything with psychedelics. After it was forbidden, so we were thinking, oh, what could we do? And he thought he had the experience with breathing, so the holotropic breathing he developed, and for me it was music, so I tried to create something which is a similar experience with music, and especially with the gong. So that was the time I developed the gong therapy in the clinic. Yeah.
In some point, it is the same motivation as Stan Grof developed the holotropic breath work to create this state of consciousness. You developed the gong therapy for the same reason, just to create the chance to live in these states without having the substance.
Yeah, because this was the only way to work with these experiences, you know, in an official legal setting, you know, in the clinic. Of course, otherwise it was good that I was a leading physician at that time in the clinic to really create this kind of therapy, because in the beginning they all thought, oh, with the gong you cannot work with psychotic people, they will get more crazy even, or but I was convinced that it is not the case, that we have a possibility to really for healing, you know, and understanding why and what is happening in a psychotic state, because these experiences are very similar to the experiences with psychedelics, you know. There is a big similarity from the content of the experience. So I was convinced that this would be helpful to really, in a safe setting, you know, to really help these people to make this experience. And this was really, yeah, it was successful, and it is still a practice in this clinic even when I left it, and it's still going on there. And now I'm working again, still in another clinic with the same gong therapy also. So
the result with psychotic people were good.
Yes.
They had their advantages.
Yeah, they understood better what was going on in their, they realized that they have two different states. They have the normal state and they have a different state, the altered state. Before, they didn't realize, for them everything was the same, you know. They didn't even realize, when am I now on the reality or am I in the altered state? And through this experience, they realized, oh, now I understand that there are two different states in my brain, so I have to behave in a different way if I'm in an altered state. for example, you know.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hearing your experiences, Peter, what comes to my mind is just like this moving from being a medical doctor in a quite medical system and going to India and then changing. And can you share with us a little of what makes you change? What if you have some kind of experience, or what was happening in that moment that you change it for another path in some way, or at least you united something that also in your career as a medical doctor, psychiatrist?
Mhm. Ja, vielleicht kannst du mal gerade die Tambur holen. I realized one day, you see, I was working with patients, they were addictive, and it was a group, and we tried to help them to get relaxation without anything, but they just could not experience this. And so one day I took this instrument here, the tambura, in the clinic, you know, this instrument here, and I played for the patients, and they were so astonished that suddenly they really could relax, they really could feel better, you know, just by listening to this instrument. So I thought, oh well, this was actually the beginning of the music therapy for me. And the psychedelic experiences, of course, we had the possibility at the it was beginning of the 80s to work with MDMA legally, and Heike accompanied me already there, and we had the possibility to work with patients with MDMA also. So till it was forbidden in 86, I think it was 86. Yeah. Then we had, unfortunately, to stop, but the experiences we had at that time, they were really, wow, so good.
Nice, thank you. Okay, great. Yeah, and I can imagine that something that happened opened your mind to introduce all these new archaic instruments and things. And, you know, because what I am hearing also is that just this union that transpersonal psychology works a lot in about this connection between East and West.
Yeah.
Bring these tools to the West.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really something. I mean, at that time, you know, the first were the Beatles. They introduced the Indian music in our society and in the West, and so many people at that time got interested because they realized, oh, these sounds of these instruments, there is something special, you know, instead of just this music where we were used to, the music which is more from the left brain, which is more written down, and but this improvised music is a different way of of experience. So
what comes to my mind now is like the mystical experiences.
Yeah.
The mystical experiences as just like, you know, something that can be developed too. What do you think about that? What about mystical experiences and how these instruments can in some point help to create or to develop, how can we say, develop a mystical experience?
Yeah. You see, we realized at first that if you give a setting and the sounds in a special way, you can go deep into an altered state of consciousness. The same depth then with taking LSD even. We made also scientific work. We compared the experiences that we had from our music with with experiences made from LSD, and the people had actually the same contents. The only difference was and the same depth also. The only difference was that the sound trance is easier to interrupt, is easier to be disturbed. You know? If you are not really concentrated, you just flip out, or if the experience is too overwhelming, you can just open your eyes again, and you can go out of the experience, you know. So it is even safer in a way, you know, because I was working with psychotics. Therefore, we had, for the safety, we was really important, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. Interesting things.
And also I realized that the content of so that every person, all people have the possibility to go in this altered state, and that the psychotics, they are in the same state, but they don't realize it, that they are in a different state, and this makes the problem, but not the content itself. So
yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Peter. This explanation is really amazing, and yeah, I'm so interested more and more about your work. And also, Heike, you have been doing quite a long journey too, and also next to Peter and by yourself. And can you share a little about you, what you have been doing? Yeah,
I mean, actually, we are on the journey together since '84, so really a long time. Can't believe it sometimes. And so, I mean, even in my young age, in the beginning of the 20s, I had the possibility to work with Peter together with a substance. I was full-time working at that time in the Central Institute of Mental Health, where I was doing EEG work and research. And then I made my training for the naturopath, Heilpraktiker in Germany. And what was really great at that time, that from the SEPT, there was a training group in psycholytic therapy. So from 89 till 92, it was possible to make a training. So, and this was really a good setting to make, deep experiences with the different substances.
Yeah, also in a group setting.
In a group setting, this was really good.
So you have the possibility of experiencing it in the beginning, in some point,
in the
legally,
beginning, So this is good, for sure. But then actually, due to the illegal situation, we did never work with substances with clients, because we also have kids together and we always wanted to stay on the legal side. So it was important for us. And so as Peter developed the gong therapy, we had a good way of transporting the contents of a psychedelic experience without using psychedelics. And this was the way what Peter described somehow. So I was part of that too. And since, I think, nearly 20 years now, I'm also working in the Windhorse Project, which was originally founded in the United States. This is an association where we work with people which are heavily with deep psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia, and so I have a lot of experience working with people to help them to integrate these experiences in their daily life. So this is also one part of my work, which I'm still doing now, half of the week. And then I'm working in a private practice as a sound therapist, and work there with the body monochord, where it's really, which is a good way of going into a trance state, and which also helps to make body experiences, which is meanwhile known also from the trauma therapy. The trauma is somehow fixed in the body, and with the instruments, with the vibrations of the different instruments, it's a way to get the trauma also out of the body.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the other.
It's very interesting, this. Heike, can you develop it a little more about this, that getting the trauma out of the body through this through Gong therapy?
Yeah, it's Gong therapy, but also with the body monochord, which is
body monochord. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I also use the gong, but the body monochord has a direct effect on the body. The people are lying there and get the vibrations of the strings directly into the body. And so they can make experiences of being safe and find their basic trust again, and that they realize that the trauma, that it's over, that it's really over, and that all the tensions in the body can get out with the body monochord, for example.
Or with the gong.
Or with the gong, yeah. The gong, of course, had so deep vibrations that you feel it even if it's standing here and you are lying there, you get the vibrations. The monochord is very nice if you have it on the body. So in our workshops, we also use body monochords that the participants can make the experience. So this was also something which we are doing since more than, since we are together, that we are giving workshops and seminars with, healthy people, more or less, I would say. And travel through the world. And so we also came together with Joelle, and since I think 2012 or something, I'm not good enough in remembering times, but really a long time, even earlier. We are doing the sound transformation with Joelle, where we also teach how to play the instruments and how to use them therapeutically and also for self-experience. So it's really a colorful music life.
Yeah, I can see. Thanks. Yeah, it's interesting because we can explain a little more the work that you are doing in these trainings, and also mention that you will be giving one in Spain. And this work that you are doing with Joelle, and the three of you will be giving this workshop. It will be nice if you can tell a little more from whom it is directed to, and what are you doing in this kind of retreats.
Okay, shall I answer, or Peter, or all together?
Together.
Not at a time. Yeah, perhaps we can help each other.
Yeah.
It's okay for the interview. I say
perfect. Yes, perfect. Heike, as you feel
it. Okay. Yeah, we will bring a lot of interesting archaic instruments to the workshop, like monochords, drums, gongs, didgeridoos, rattles, all kinds of instruments which belong to the gong ritual. And
sometimes you see the patients, if they see our instruments in the clinic, for example, where I'm working, they think, oh my God, where am I here? It is this is not a serious kind of, there are no really music instruments. What is this, So they are astonished to see it. But if they feel it, then it's changing, because they are really astonished, for example, for the sound of a gong. This is not just that you just hit it, so you play the gong in a different way, which is so it's really something completely different. And also the instruments that we are using, we realized, especially since the ideas of Stanislav Grof and of the perinatal matrices, and also in there is the prenatal
Perinatal matrix.
yeah, of course, but there is also a psychology for prenatal
psychology.
Prenatal psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And we realized that, for example, the sound of a didgeridoo is actually the sound of the intestines. And the drum, of course, is the heartbeat. The ocean drum is of the
rush of the blood
through the vessels, you know. So this is actually a situation where we made our first experiences is in the womb, and the sounds are so similar that we are using that people are going even back to this very first beginning in the womb, and also some describe the birth process itself, or how later they are confronted maybe with some traumata where something dangerous happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is some similarity to the holotropic breathing, where you also can do the rebirthing. But the big difference is that the holotropic breathing is more an eccentric thing. The people is a big breathing, and they can shout and move, and it's very more eccentric. And with the sounds, it's more an intrinsic experience.
Meditative, a meditative state, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, the instruments, really, the vibration of these instruments is actually very important. And I find it such a pity that psychedelic nowadays, they are offered with headphones and with only and with blindfolders and so. And I think this is it's a pity, because they don't give you this body experience. And a real instrument gives you also the body, the real body instrument, the reflections. And this is the main difference also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is also something how you can apply the gong ritual or playing the instruments. One is that you make sound trance itself, but it's also wonderful to guide psychedelic sessions with the instruments. So nowadays, where it's getting opener and opener, and I think it will not take a long time, since it's possible to make legal psychedelic experiences. And then it's a wonderful tool to guide the sessions with the live instruments. It gives really a bigger, like Peter said, with the body, and it's really different because all the energies in the room are there. If you put on a CD, you put in energies from somewhere else, for example. And so you can really react very personal on the group process.
And
for example,
the reason why we work with real instruments. This is important. In also every instrument has its own archetype, and this archetype one can learn. You know, we give the sounds so that the participants can learn how they react to this special archetype of a monochord, or of a drum, or the tempura, or the didgeridoo, or the gong. So they are completely different archetypes, and we give the possibility to learn about this, to experience it, and also to learn a little bit about the playing, how it is played, and so.
Yeah, an introduction, of course. On the residential workshop in 3 days, you cannot learn it completely, but you get the introduction, can practice, and perhaps people get interested and want to deepen it. So this would be one thing. And also, you were asking for whom? Who would be the participants in the residential? Okay. So I would say it's really interesting for all people who work in therapy. I mean, whether it's psychotherapy or body work or music therapists, of course, and also psychologists. And actually, I would say it's also interested for people who work in psychiatry to get another idea if they work with people in altered states, like nurses or doctors or whatever, that they get another approach to work with their clients, for example.
To understand,
what do you mean?
Yeah, to understand what could be come up to make this experience yourself, then you can understand much better the patient when he's reporting these things, you know. So
beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much. Great explanation.
Also open for if you are not a professional. I mean, if someone is interested in the instruments, in the sounds, I mean, this is also possible if you want to use it more for your own journey and discover yourself better, or
it will be experiential and as an experience in all that you are sharing with us, with all these instruments, with all these. It's interesting when you were talking about the link between the perinatal matrix and Stangrof development of this matrix and archetypes. You mentioned in some point the archetypes and how these come together. It's just like, and I have one question. Each instrument, do you have the experience of different parts of the different matrix with each instrument? It's developed.
All this we will show in the workshop, in the theoretical part. We will explain everything in detail, how and
which instrument belongs
to which instrument belongs to which perinatal matrix, for example, or what could be provoked by the sound trance. All this we will in detail in theory and in practical part.
So one aspect, for what I understand, is all the archaic instruments are each application, and another aspect is the gong therapy. They are in some point two different techniques.
No,
not
really, no, because all the instruments, all the archaic instruments are part of the gong ritual.
Okay.
The gong therapy. The gong ritual is not only the gong.
Okay, thank you for
the center of it, but all the other instruments belong to it, an important part.
Thank you, Heike. That's it. Make it much more clear for me that I didn't experience it yet.
Okay. Sorry for us. It's so clear what we're talking.
No, it was a question that I have.
Asking this question.
Okay, perfect. If you want to share something more, it will be, it's open. If not, you have shared so much, and I think that we can finish it.
I think the main things we have explained so far, and of course there's a lot more, but I mean, this would take too much time.
I think it's a good for the introduction for the workshop.
I think that is very useful information, and at least I have a much more broad idea of what you are doing, and I'm so thankful that you give this chance also to people know more about what you are offering. And I'm so happy that you come to Spain. Super welcome. And yeah.
Perhaps
so
the
much.
workshop is in English. We are not talking Spanish.
Yeah.
For us. But Joel, we work with him. We are the three of us, which is really great because we play. It's important for a good sound field that you have enough musicians to do that. So, and we have so many years of experience in playing together that it's really, I'm sure we are making a good setting, rich, full music setting.
Yeah, beautiful. And so it is open to English people and also to English spoken people and Spanish spoken people. We will have it in both languages.
Yeah,
just to specify.
And Germans.
And Germans. Whoever. Yeah, English.
Everyone who speaks and understands English or Spanish.
Perfect.
I would say.
Well, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure to share this with you both.